Hello world, Nikolai here from Lanti Labs, and today we'll talk about part 3 of our deep dive into imbalance functions, and specifically we're going to look into the core unit imbalances. And by core unit I mean all the units here from the base game, not the official expansion. And so I'm going to use this combat sheet I've created to help me for reference, but we're going to look at this tablet most of the time. Okay, so icons for language. I had to develop essentially a new language in terms of how I display or show information or effects, so I can do this because I'm working with a very short space. So for example, if you look at these units here, there's literally just one square worth of space that you can add some additional information. And if you do that via language, you may do it in English, maybe in Korean, but in any other language you probably have difficulty. So I have to translate everything I wanted to say in words into some sort of visual effect, which can be standard. Okay, and so what do I mean by that? So we have our 3 dice. And so if I want to represent that you need 2 ships to add 1 additional die, I do this by sort of hiding half the square. If I want to say that you can deploy a ground unit in the second round of combat, I can use this icon here. If I want to say that you can actually roll 1 die of any color of your choice, we can do this. And if I want to say that this unit makes the current location deployable location, I will use this icon. So these 3 icons are like general effect icons, where the other ones are like effects on a rolling die icon. Okay, so if I want to say that the space units of the opponent will be reduced by 2, and specifically the black ones, I will use this icon. And if I want to say that I will be rolling 2 additional red dice in the ground arena, I can use this one. And this is the new icon I created just today for a reroll. And this one is for a dice flip. Okay, let's go. Rebel units. X-Wing. X-Wing generally just does additional black damage via its card. So instead of that, we can simply flip 1 black die for each X unit we have. So if you roll, let's say, a blank, you'll be able to convert it to a hit. If you roll a direct hit, you'll be able to convert it to a heal, and vice versa. So this gives you a very good predictability. For this unit, it's a very reliable unit. It doesn't do in total more damage, but it does more consistent damage and the type of damage you need. Y-Wing, exactly the same thing, but for the red dice. So it makes it a really reliable bomber. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Rebel Transport, if we look at the base core game stats here, it does nothing. So it's just a transport. And I wanted to sort of use it to help motivate the Rebel troops, and maybe does some of its card effects, like being able to escape more easily. And this is done by affecting the roll of the opposite side of the other player, of the Imperial player. So you can re-roll 1 black die of the Empire in the space arena, or 1 red die in the ground arena, or you can re-roll 1 green die roll in either the space or the ground arena. Makes this unit more like survivable. Okay, Corellian Corvette. Very straightforward. Its effect was from the card was to cancel the opponent card, and here you are forcing the opponent to roll 1 less black or red die, and that's in the space arena specifically, which is totally reminiscent of how this unit is like a fast ship moving around, difficult to hit, and yeah, so you of course have to counter it with a unit that rolls green dice and ideally has green health. That will be the perfect counter, like an A-Wing, for example. Okay, Mon Calamari Cruiser. So the effect here is sort of the ultimate in tactical flexibility. You're able to flip 1 die of any color to its opposite side. So you can, let's say, flip one of your own direct hits into a heal to make it survivable, or help another unit score a direct hit instead of being a heal on the attack, and so on. So really makes this unit very flexible through this effect. Rebel Trooper, very simple. It helps the Vanguard by rerolling the green die if needed. So that's for each Rebel Trooper. Okay, but there are 3 green dice, so that if you have more than 3, it's gonna be wasted. For the Airspeeder, again, another effect over the green die. This one is a flip. So the Airspeeder sort of acts in concert with the turret, the Golem Arms turret, which gets to roll green dice. And so this, being like a forward observer, helps like direct target, helps direct the fire of the turret, and so it can flip some of the misses into actual hits. Really sort of thematic. Shield Generator. Now, this unit original effect is at the start of each ground battle step, retrieve 1 discarded ground tactic card. And obviously we're trying to do like a version or a variant here where we're not using tactic cards, so I have to come up with an effect, and that's very simple. You are affecting the enemy dice, so in the ground theater you can flip 1 black, green, or red die from the enemy player. That's for the Empire. So essentially just acts like a shield. Okay, Ion Cannon. Here I've been able to translate the full effect, which is during each space battle step, your opponent rolls 2 fewer red dice. And this is what it means. Space battle, red die, 2 fewer. So the full effect is captured here in this icon. And since you are sort of creating like a corridor of, you know, ion plasma fire, you're able to either sneak out or sneak in like a deployment. So you can deploy to additional space light units like X-Wings or transport into the planet or off. Imperial units. Okay, let's turn this sheet around. Stormtroopers. So Stormtroopers obviously have more sort of weapons, or at the very least cartridges for their magazines, and so they can shoot more, and this is represented by being able to roll an additional black die if you have two of them. So if you have 4 Stormtroopers, you'll be able to roll 5 dice in total. So it's a bit wasted, but you know, they tend to miss a lot. So AT-ST, so here we're just adding firepower, 1 additional green die, and it becomes like exactly what the card was, for more direct hits. AT-AT, even more flexible. You're adding 1 die, but you can do it from any color. So you can switch either to more like anti-personnel fire or more heavy, super heavy fire, just like in the movie. TIE Fighter. So I've been able to translate the effect of the card, which was if you have more fighters than the opponent, you can do damage. And we do this by essentially adding 1 green die for every 2 TIE fighters. So if you have 4 TIE fighters or 6 TIE fighters, you can roll 3 additional green dice. Perfect for hunting, you know, Corellian corvettes. Assault Carrier. Now we have an actual additional carrier functionality by being able to deploy 1 space unit. And of course, if you have 2 of them, you may be able to deploy a more advanced space unit. Star Destroyer. Here I'm leaning into the bombardment roll of one of the tactic cards. So you can roll an additional 1 die of any color in the ground arena. Obviously, you need to have units present, otherwise nobody will be able to direct the fire. So as long as you have a Stormtrooper or something else, you can just add an additional die of whatever color you like. And the Super Star Destroyer, even more of what the Star Destroyer is, so you're adding additional 2 dice. And here the new thing is that you can produce this ship now if you have 2 locations with a square space production. So in addition to the its own card for production, you're able to make more of these. And I think this unit could use a bit more love since it's really cool, but you know, you don't want to waste the leader's move just to leader's action just to build one of these. So you can sacrifice a bit of production and just get a more powerful unit in the location where it matters. Now here's where it gets more interesting. The original Death Star under construction, I mean, there wasn't really anything to it. Again, it's just health. Here, I'm able to capture some of the iconic moments of the movie, like when units arrive there, like when the ships arrived, the Emperor had staged a trap. And so this symbol represents what the effect of the interdictor cruiser is. So if the rebels start a battle in the system of the Death Star under construction, they cannot escape until that unit is destroyed. So it makes it like a target, primary target, if they wish to escape. But they have now a lot of new objectives from one of the other expansions related to it, so it's thematic that they want to go and visit that location. The other effect here is that this location where the Death Star under construction is now a deployable location. So even if it's a remote system and if you don't have a shield bunker, you can deploy to the Death Star under construction. And of course, it can also deploy an additional fighter after the second turn to help protect it. And finally, the ultimate space station, the Death Star here. In addition to being able to roll 4 red dice, we have, of course, the deployable location effect, and we are able to deploy additional ground units and additional fighters. That's, again, from the second round of combat. And so this makes it a really scary ship, really something you wish to build for rather than ignore and bring to the battle. And that's it. So next time, or next video, I wish to do a battle demo of this. And hopefully that will be as early as tomorrow, but maybe next week, we'll see. And thanks for watching. May the Force be with you.